To present the NABOB Mickey Leland Public Service Award are the heads of America's two largest African-American owned broadcast companies, Mr. Pierre Sutton and Mr. Alfred Liggins.
Al Sharpton is a friend of mine. I've known him for about 30 years. Wherever there has been a conflict, whenever there's been a trouble, whenever there was an injustice being done, Al Sharpton has been there to address that injustice. And for that, and because we share the same ghetto, we're going to actually also say that Mickey Leland was a friend of mine as well. And the reason why we have this award is because Mickey Leland was one of those men of the Congressional Black Caucus who died, in fact, in an effort to feed people in Africa. He was a man who was of great principle, and we give this award tonight to Al Sharpton, another man of deep and great principle.
I actually had prepared remarks that I'd been reading, and I was going to read them until my colleague and friend, Mr. Sutton, went off the top of his head, so I think I'm going to do the same. My name is Alfred Charles Liggins, and I'm actually honored to share the same name as Alfred Charles Sharpton. I learned that today, your middle name online. And I actually thought about what I was going to say, but you said something that really struck me. I, too, am a friend of Reverend Sharpton's, and I've known him for many, many years. I've gotten closer over, I'd say, the last 7. We work together. Our company, Radio 1, actually syndicates Reverend Sharpton's show. But I have come to know him as a colleague and as a friend, and I am just, you know, I'm amazed at the dedication, the hard work, the commitment, and the effort that you put in on a consistent basis to fight for people. I'm in New York with you on a weekly basis, and I know how you're all over the city and you're all over the country, and I know where we broadcast your show from. And we had a conversation not too long ago, and I said, when do you go on vacation? What do you like to do? And your answer was never, and that struck me. And so I appreciate everything that you have done for black broadcasters, because you are absolutely a friend of black broadcasters. You are a man of God, you're a man of honor, you're a man of integrity, and I'm proud to call you friend. And so with that, I'm pleased and proud to present the Mickey Leland Public Service Award from NABOB on behalf of all of black broadcasting.
No justice! No justice! No justice!
The Reverend Al Sharpton has been a prominent civil rights activist since the 1970s. Born Alfred Charles Sharpton Jr. in Brooklyn, New York, Sharpton became known as the Boy Wonder for his God-given oratorical skill.
Who can say, I have made my heart clean and I am pure from sin? My subject is who? W-H-O, who?
He became an ordained minister at just 10 years old.
And the one who knows all about me, Jesus, helps me along the way.
Sharpton became active in the civil rights movement in the late 60s with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and in 1971 founded the National Youth Movement, which raised resources for impoverished youth.
We're here today to say that we're not going to lay down. We're not going to take it. It's time to stand up and affirm ourselves as Dr. King has taught us.
Sharpton's activism intensified in the 1980s, leading high-profile protests against injustice and racial discrimination. He was catapulted to the national stage as he led the public outcry over the murders of Michael Griffith in Howard Beach and Yusuf Hawkins in Bensonhurst.
What I did as part of the day of outrage was jump on the train tracks at a main artery downtown Brooklyn, and 72 of us were arrested. By the time we got out of jail the next morning, Not only had we gotten the world's attention, the jury convicted these young men in Howard Beach case.
Despite great personal risk and even an assassination attempt, Sharpton continued the fight against racially fueled crimes.
All I can think about is that if I'm gonna die, at least I died on the firing line. At least I died standing up for what was right.
In 1991, Sharpton founded the Harlem-based National Action Network to fight for social justice in the spirit of Dr. King.
March when they said we were silly. That's right. We went to jail when they said it was a publicity stunt.
The NAN is still going strong, with numerous chapters throughout the country. And while Sharpton has kept a high profile, he has never left the pulpit in his community.
When God calls you to be a watchman, you got to cry loud and spare not. Lift up your voice like a trumpet in Zion. Sometimes Pharaoh don't like it, but you got to cry out anyhow.
In 1999, Sharpton participated in the massive demonstrations against police brutality and racial profiling surrounding the death of Amadou Diallo, an innocent, unarmed African immigrant who was gunned down by police.
And out of that case probably came the most dramatic wave of civil disobedience we've seen in urban America since Dr. King.
7 years later, the Reverend would find himself leading a similar situation in the Sean Bell shooting incident. Peaceful protests were organized in response to the acquittals of the police officers, once again emphasizing Sharpton's vigilance as a protector and mediator of the African American community. He has run for office several times, including a presidential bid in 2004, but has always remained his own man. Known for his deft handling of the media, Sharpton constantly flexes his oratorical muscles and charismatic persona on TV.
I do not think that there is an epidemic of racial profiling.
I think maybe if you understood the definition, you could not deny it.
Reverend Sharpton has remained a leader who fights for one standard of justice and decency for all people, regardless of race, religion, national origin, and gender, as his National Action Network puts forth.
Peace means everyone's at peace. Everyone's being treated fairly. And you can't get that without justice. So we're really ultimately fighting for real peace, not just a convenient social quiet.
NABOB salutes the Reverend Al Sharpton for the Mickey Leland Public Service Award.
Baby!